today we're going to talk about a little bit about cost savings. And so we'll talk about frameworks, about how to get some cost savings. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about what do we do as mortgage bankers? What do we exist, right? Our goal has always been to connect Wall Street to Main Street, the people that have the money with the people that need the money, right? Ensuring that we're managing effectively the risk to our investors as well as the risk to our borrowers. Part of our goal in the primary market has always been ensuring that the borrowers are educated, they're making wise lending decisions. That's always been part of our charter. Yet, as an industry, we are entirely focused on operational cost savings. We're spending so much of our technology dollars on operational cost savings. But what I want to show you guys today is that those two things are the same. If we have strong, empowered borrowers making strong financial decisions, that is how our industry saves costs. So what I want to show you guys is how these things are connected today. So let's start with what's happening today. Today, a lot of folks are out there focused on operational cost efficiencies, as is Tavon. Tavon has a product called Touchless Lending.
Consumers are used to borrowing money nearly instantaneously. But home mortgages? That's a different story. On average, a mortgage loan takes more than 50 days to close. That's because for each loan, your employees have to track dozens of documents and perform many manual tasks. But what if you could eliminate bottlenecks in processing and underwriting and close a mortgage in as little as 7 days? Tavant introduces Touchless Lending. Touchless Lending automatically processes your documents, analyzes your data, and keeps your applications moving intelligently to close. Now, you will have a shorter mortgage lifecycle. Your cost per loan will be lowered. Your associates will be able to handle more loans each day. They will be able to focus on making data-driven credit decisions. And your customers will be delighted by a smoother process and quicker decision. See how Touchless Lending can elevate your mortgage business. Contact us for a demo today.
So I'm really sorry, my marketing guy made me put that up there, so I had to show it to you. But let's just set some context, right? Some framework of what exactly we're doing in the operational efficiency area. So what is Touchless Lending? It's basically our platform to implement straight-through processing. The idea that we can take a set of loans all the way through the lending process, origination, processing, underwriting, closing, all the way through in a touchless mode, right, with no human intervention. Basically, there's three tenets, three principles that back up touchless lending. One is the fact that as an industry, we have more data. Two, we have better augmented AI ML capabilities. And three, we have better tools, better experience for our underwriters. So let's start with data. The Touchless Lending application has 4 different OCR imaging vendors attached to it. Some are really good at income documents. Some are really good at unstructured documents. We go with hundreds of documents, tens of thousands of pieces of data. Other part of it is data that we're getting from third parties. FinConnect has 140 different vendors out there that we're getting data from. All of that is fed into our engine. We're doing an underwriting assessment. We're looking at income, credit, assets. We're integrating with LP and DU. We're getting the findings back. We're turning those findings into conditions. Because we have the data, we're able to clear those conditions. We're using machine learning to then basically triage these loans into, for lack of a better word, red, yellow, green, blue, right? We're triaging these loans, red loans. These are high-risk, high-complexity loans. $100 an hour underwriter is going to spend 4 hours on that loan. We want them to look at those high-complexity loans, right? We need them to look at those loans. Yellow loans are still an underwriter, but it's a $50 an hour underwriter. It's a targeted underwrite. Based on what the system tells you, you're either going to look at income or appraisal or assets. You're focused on what you're doing. You're not going to rip up the whole file and spend 4 hours on that file. It's a targeted underwrite. The green loans are not an underwriter at all. It's a processor following a tailored checklist. They're following a tailored checklist. 30 minutes, this $20 an hour processor finishes that loan and it's approved. And then the blue loans are truly touchless. Because we have tens of thousands of pieces of data, we're able to clear all the conditions on that loan and approve that loan. That is truly the touchless loan process. Beyond the triaging of these loans using machine learning, we have other tools. Can you imagine that we still ask our $100 an hour underwriters to stare and compare and look for subject property being the same amongst all these documents? Well, we can give them better tools, better experiences to deal with that. This is an example of the touchless lending interface for the underwriters. Everything consolidated in one spot. Everything that they need in one place. So for the red underwrites, the high touch, high risk, high complexity loans, everything is available to them. The tasks that they need to perform. For the yellow loans and the green loans, the task that they have to perform is in one place. But now the question is, where else could we apply these concepts? Right? So that's what we're all doing for underwriting. That's what we're all doing for operations. The question is, where else can we apply these ideas? So everybody's probably seen this slide before from the MBA. $9,500 is the average cost to originate a loan, right? Half of that cost is sales cost, right? Now is when you need to play that dramatic music, dun, 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 right? Never the third rail of lending. You're not allowed to touch loan officer compensation. But we are not here to gather all the loan officers and burn them at the stake with pitchforks and torches. That's not the idea. That's not the right approach. Automated underwriting was never about eliminating underwriters. And this is not about eliminating loan officers. It's about productivity. It's about loan officer productivity. So the question on the table is, can we apply those same ideas of more data, better augmented AI/ML, and enhanced tools and experience to the sales process? That's the question. Absolutely. Absolutely, we can apply those same ideas to the sales process in an effort to reduce that sales loan officer, the sales cost. So we all start with, we have leads coming in from all the various sources. So you go back first to the data problem. Can we get data off of other documents? The offer letter, the purchase agreement. Can we get data from other third-party sources? Property data, borrower data, demographic data, market intelligence data. Can we get data from internal sources, your servicing system, core banking system? Pull all of that information into our machine and segment our loans based on non-QM, self-employed, high-cost loans. Can we segment the loans, reverse mortgages? Can we segment the loans, again, into red, yellow, green, right? Senior loan officers, junior loan officers, and customer service reps. Can we segment these loans into this with using machine learning and AI/ML? Absolutely. So here what we're talking about is, if you have a salesperson who's really good at hitting sliders, you only feed him sliders. If you have a loan officer who's really good at hitting fastballs, you only feed him fastballs. That's the way that we're talking about the red, yellow, green. You target which loans these loan officers would get. So now some of you all are saying to yourself, I already do this. I already have loan officers segmented. I already have loan officer assistants. I already have CSRs. I'm already doing this, right? You all are saying, I already do lead scoring. I already have models that allow me to look at leads, score them, and work on the highest ones first, right? You're already doing, everybody knows you're looking at refinance loans. You're looking at the loans that are in the money and going for those loans. But the idea here is that that is a very coarse segmentation that we're doing today. And the point here is that the data scientists, and the tools that they use have matured. They've matured further to the point where we can do a much more refined segmentation of these loans. So I'm willing to bet money, dollars to donuts, that right down this 55 freeway at the end in Costa Mesa, the Experian office, there's somebody there right now that's working on looking at that credit data, the data of payment of credit, debt payments, and trying to predict, calculate your income. I bet you 2 cubicles down there's somebody that's looking at that exact same data, plus other demographic data, and trying to figure out what are your liquid assets, what are your savings. And there's someone else that's 2 cubes down that's sitting there saying, can I look at this data and predict the amount of cash out you will want on your next refinance? I believe that that's very possible. That's happening today. I believe that we have the capability to know that 626-290-6309 is the number for George Hernandez. That George Hernandez is a plumber who makes $80,000, a wife who's a nurse who makes $110,000. They live in a $500,000 house with a $300,000 mortgage. They have 3 kids. One is going to college, and George is going to want a $47,000 cash-out loan. I believe that we will be able to tell that. Not only will we be able to tell before that phone call comes in, not only will we be able to know that that's what they want, we'll know that the best person to deal with this loan is Joe in the green team, because Joe will have the highest likelihood of closing that deal in the shortest amount of time. That is absolutely possible. It is absolutely where the direction that we're headed in. Some of you might think this is BS or voodoo, and I believe it. I can tell you why I believe it. Because in 1992, I worked on a project called Casas for Freddie Mac. We had the audacious goal of looking at property information and being able to predict the value of a home. That was our goal back in 1992. We were working on that. In 1982, that was probably, people thought that was voodoo. There's no way we could do that. But in 2002, we have this entire iBuyer segment where they're buying properties sight unseen based on these models. I absolutely think that our ability to drive more predictive modeling, better AI/ML tools, absolutely going to deliver this vision. And beyond the triaging of loans, there's other tools that we can deliver to our salespeople. Natural language processing, the ability when borrower and a loan officer are having a very fluid, natural conversation about their property, their debts, you can pluck information out of that conversation and fill application, coach the loan officer. Tell them, if you ask these following 2 questions, I can price the loan. Coach them on how to structure a deal so that they can actually close that loan. Those are all possible, and with the tools that we're evolving to. But the big question here is, what's missing from this picture? What's missing from this picture is the blue channel, right? Truly self-serve, where the borrower is able to do this themselves. That's what's missing from here. So now we come full circle. How do we ensure that the borrower is able to do this self-service? Today, the reason that they need to talk to loan officers is because they don't have the confidence. They don't know whether this is the right time to lock that rate, whether this is the right product for them, and they need that loan officer to help them feel confident. That's what's happening today. So this borrower enablement is all about giving the borrower the ability to confidently make that borrowing decision. The analogy that I would draw for you is securities trading. Prior to 1998, if I wanted to buy 100 shares of IBM stock, I called my broker. He had the access to the information, he had the education, access to the tools, and the information to pull the trigger on that. 1998, E-Trade launched the online trading. And we created the citizen broker, right? You were able to do it all yourself. You educated yourself. You're able to pull the trigger yourself. That's what we need. We need the citizen loan officer. We need to empower our borrowers to be able to make these kind of decisions themselves, right? Number 1, give them broader education, financial literacy, right? Work within our community to educate our borrowers. Now again, you guys are saying, we're already doing these things. Absolutely true. The point is that technology has improved. The technology has improved to do this even better. Improved tools. We have to have tools that the borrower sees in context of their loan, right? As I become smarter as a borrower, the tool becomes smarter and teaches me more, gives me more empowerment that I'm making the right decision. And better data, right? Nobody knows whether rates are going up or down. Loan officers are able to look at that and they understand the impact to your loan if rates go up or down. That's the education that we have to provide to the borrowers, right? Help them to be able to look and understand the impact of that. Do little mini stress tests, right? Our banks have to do stress tests for their portfolios today. A little mini stress test would be, I as a borrower, if I get this loan and I lose my job, what's the impact to me? How will I recover? I as a borrower, if I get this loan, I lose my job and the value of my house goes down, what's the impact? What do I do? This is educating them on what's a loan modification, educating them on short sales, educating them on forbearance. We're educating the borrowers so that they can make that confident decision. So what's going to happen if the borrower is able to make these confident borrowing decisions? The size of the pie will increase. There'll be more borrowers willing to buy a property sooner in their life cycle. There'll be more borrowers willing to do investment properties. The overall size of the pie will increase. That's exactly what happened in the security side. The overall pie increased. More people were involved. We're not going to reduce loan officers, we'll increase loan officers, but they'll be focused on the borrowers that need it. So I hope I've given you guys some things to think about. Be around for a while. Happy to talk about questions and stuff. And we're selling pitchforks and torches in the expo area. Thank you so much.